I'm Eric.
And I'm Ash.
And this is The Hash.
With Eric and Ash.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of The Hash.
With Eric and Ash.
Today, we're talking all about...
having a healthy relationship with food.
Woo!
This is my jam.
Take it away.
No, this is just a really big part of the initial phase that I work on with my clients. I struggled with my relationship with food for so long. And it's been really, I don't want to say fun, but like it's just been amazing to be able to help people with their relationship with food.
Yeah.
Because it's a toughie.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us, I mean, I'm sure we've talked about it before, but a little bit about your relationship with food?
So I feel like I've been on all sides of the spectrum in terms of my relationship with food, like from one extreme to the next. I've gone through, like when I was in college, I would binge eat. Like I was the drunk binge eater and I would be so embarrassed by it. Like, and I just wrote a post about this, even when I was on the other side of the spectrum where I was eating really, really low calories, I would still binge and then feel so embarrassed that I would literally take the bags. Like if I ate chips, I would take the bags of chips and run outside and hide it in the trash so no one would know that I ate the food. Like that's where my head was at. But yeah, I just think, I wanted to kind of talk about like what it actually looks like to have a healthy relationship with food, because I feel like some people don't know and sometimes they think things are normal, but they're not.
Right.
So I kind of wanted to just touch on that first. So the first thing is you're not thinking about food 24/7. Like I literally would eat breakfast, and then while I was eating breakfast, think about the next snack I was going to eat. And then while I was thinking about the next snack I was going to eat, I'd be thinking about what was for lunch. Like it was just constant. And I would even like avoid eating food by going and doing activities. Like I was like, it was driving me so crazy that I would be like, okay, cool,
You gotta go distract yourself.
Yeah. I would literally go to the tanning bed or something like that, which I don't do that anymore. But or like go to the grocery, well, maybe I didn't go to the grocery store. That probably wouldn't have been good. But I would have to distract myself. But yeah, did you want to add something to that?
Just that I feel like whenever we're making breakfast or something, I'm always like, all right, what are we doing for lunch?
I know.
What are we doing for dinner? And I'm laughing because my dad does the exact same thing, and I probably got it from him. And I feel like we're kind of like the same in the kitchen. I think it's just because like we're cooking and like we're in the kitchen, we're doing that. And I'm like, okay, cool. What are we going to do for the next round of cooking? It's less like, oh my God, like I just want the food. It's more about like just like planning and like.
Yeah, no, this is a little different where, obviously you're thinking about food, but even when you're not cooking or eating, like
it's
constantly.
You're like obsessing, not just thinking about food, obsessing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. And I honestly felt crazy.
When you were like that, like, do you feel like, because I know we just talked about like, you need to eat enough to like make sure that you're not having these cravings. Like when you were thinking about food a lot and you said you were on the side of the spectrum where like, you weren't necessarily like starving yourself or anything, but like, do you think, like looking back, do you feel like that played a role in it or?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I was definitely not eating enough. And even when I was kind of in college unhealthy, I would eat a ton on the weekends just from drinking and partying and whatnot. But then in the week, I would eat as little food as possible. Like not all the time, but what?
It's kind of sounding like I'd eat a little poo as possible. I try to eat as little poo as possible myself.
No, but I remember one of my girlfriends, food. One of my girlfriends ate the same as me. She's like, oh, you always eat healthy. Like even when I was a little bit heavier and was like not feeling good about myself, my friends still looked at me and were like, whoa, you eat really healthy. But
because that's what they saw.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
That's what you showed them.
Yeah, but one day I had a girlfriend eat the same as me, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Maybe she needed to go to the grocery store or something. I was like, okay, we'll just like share food all day, whatever. And she was like, by the end of the day, I was starving. Like, I don't know how you do that. Like, I'm so hungry. Yeah. And I was like, oh, really? Like, I didn't even notice that.
That was just normal for you.
Yeah, so that definitely played a huge role of me not eating enough food. So I was constantly thinking about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, another thing, just a point on having a healthy relationship with food is honoring your hunger and really listening to your body. I think that this is a big one because, you know, let's just say you have a snack. It doesn't fill you up that much. You're hungry an hour later. For me, I would be like, oh my gosh, like, why am I so hungry right now? Like, I'm not supposed to be hungry. I just ate. But it's like, okay, maybe you didn't have protein, so you're feeling a little hungry. Or just didn't, fill you up or keep you satisfied. So, like, really honoring your hunger. But kind of going back, if you haven't listened to the last episode, go listen to that about cravings, because your body could just be craving food as well. So
yeah, I think another important thing is like understanding that there's no such thing as good food. There's no such thing as bad food.
Yeah.
Or there's no such thing as healthy and unhealthy food. There's just more and less nutritious food, right? And, you can have the food that you think of as bad food and still be healthy, still reach your fitness goals. And just kind of like getting rid of that black or white thinking that like, this is what I need to eat to reach my goals. This is what I need to not eat to reach my goals. And like, again, it's just like more or less nutritious foods. Like there's going to be foods that are going to, if like, let's say your goals are fat loss, there's going to be foods that are going to make fat loss a hell of a lot easier. And there's going to be foods that are going to make it a lot harder, but that's not to say that you can't have that stuff. It's just understanding how food works. And I feel like that's really where my brain goes. It's like, and I feel like that's what's just so amazing about this podcast and the duality between us is that like I'm sort of like the show me the Carfax kind of guy, you know what I mean? Like, and so which kind of brings me to the next thing, which I don't remember exactly what you said that made me think of this, but like just understanding that like just in order to keep you alive, like our bodies require a significant amount of energy, and like kind of looking at the total daily energy expenditure, like all the different ways that our bodies burn calories, right? You have like resting metabolic rate. Like if you were to just lay in bed, do nothing, you're not digesting anything, you're just to keep you alive. Like that's like 60 to 70% of the total daily calories that your body burns. And I feel like, like let's call that 1,600 calories, and people will try to like, oh, then that means I need to eat like 1,500 calories. Well, no, because then there's exercise activity. There's non-exercise activity. The calories it takes for me to, if you're watching this, slap my, count on my fingers, like the fidgeting, the walking around, all that stuff. And so just understanding that like, your bodies require a significant amount of energy.
Yeah. Preach. Yeah, I was gonna say something too, just about not cutting out certain foods unless you have some sort of allergy. Like I don't eat dairy, but that's because I am lactose intolerant. But I mean cutting out like, okay, I'm not gonna eat carbs. Okay, I'm not gonna eat dessert. That's not gonna help you get there.
Yeah.
It's gonna, maybe you might see a little bit of progress for the first 2 weeks until you can't your willpower gives out, and then you binge on that stuff, and then you lose all your progress. Right. So it's like, why not just do it in a balanced way?
Yeah, from the get-go, set yourself up for success.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was also going to touch on like feeling guilty. Like if you have a good relationship with food, if you eat a cookie, you're not going to feel guilty about it. Like really just, again, I feel like food too. Oh my God, these
little fruit flies.
Fills you up in some way or another. Something like cookies is not necessarily gonna help you with your fat loss goals, but it's gonna fill something else, like a void. No, I'm not explaining this right.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I'll take the conch. I think kind of going back to like, again, I'm sort of the show me the Carfax kind of, how does this all work? Like what are all the like things that go into this? I think one way to develop a good or, improve your relationship with food is to just learn the basics about nutrition. I kind of touched on it a little bit, talking about total daily energy expenditure, and that would kind of tie into like just calories and energy balance, but like taking the time to like actually understand just the basics. You don't need to go get a PhD in nutrition.
To someone that's not in the fitness world, though, total daily energy expenditure sounds a little complicated.
Well, let me break it down for you even more. It's just essentially the number of
we should link
how
it
much
in the
calories,
show notes.
how many calories you burn in a day. And again, like I just think learning a little bit about nutrition, again, the basics, right? A little bit about calories, a little bit about macros, a little bit about micros in meal timing. Like that stuff right there will go a long way. And just kind of just give you the tools and understand the different kind of variables at play, I think can definitely help and just kind of put things into perspective.
Yeah. I was also going to say shifting your perspective on food can really, this kind of goes with what you're saying, can really help you. Like if you understand that you literally need food to survive, there's no way around it. I feel like so many of us just make food the enemy because they're like, I hate you, food. You make me fat.
Right.
Like, and again, that was my perspective for a really long time. But if we can kind of shift our perspective to be like, wait, no, food is fuel. We need it to survive. And something I have my clients do is, just as an exercise, is write down all your current beliefs on food. What do you truly believe about food?
Yeah.
Like, carbs make you fat. Sugar will make me, I don't know, protein makes you bulky.
Yeah.
Like, what are your current beliefs? And then again, like looking at the facts of what's actually true and what's not.
Right.
And then creating new kind of beliefs for yourself.
Yeah. Well, because it's hard, Anybody with a mic and a camera starts a podcast, and there's just a lot of different, views, a lot of different bullshit out there. Mm-hmm. So, take it upon yourself to go learn that stuff. Again,
or hire a coach.
Hire a coach. Do you know any good coaches?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I know one.
I know one too.
Yeah, or even like, there's a bunch of free resources out there, or like even doing something like Precision Nutrition. Like it was like about $1,000 that I did it, and like I'm a certified nutrition coach now, but like I don't think that's like a crazy thing for just the average person to do. Mm-hmm. Again, just arm yourself with knowledge.
Yeah. But again, I feel like sometimes people are just overwhelmed by that, Like they don't like taking $1,000 course for someone who has zero interest.
Yeah, I'm not saying start there. I'm saying, watch my YouTube at Eric Hunsaker. Or again, like there's a lot of free resources out there. But I think what happened for me, because again, being that guy that like wanted to know the details about everything, or like the facts about everything, I think when it really started to click for me was when I did go down the rabbit hole. I did a nutrition course. I bought another great place to start would be the muscle and strength training, the muscle. I have it on here. The muscle and strength nutrition pyramid is one book, and the other one is the muscle and strength training pyramid. Mm-hmm. You can get those for like between $20 and $40 for both of them, maybe like $30 for both of them on an ebook. Go start there. That literally breaks everything down. And I think when it really started to click for me was when the stuff that like that book was saying, the stuff that Precision Nutrition was saying, the stuff that some other fitness mentors were saying, they all were on the same page. It was like, okay, cool. This is accurate. Yeah, this is, I'm not the only one, or they're not totally against each other. Yeah. I think, that's when things started to click for me.
Yeah, I think the most overwhelming part, and I know we talked about this before, is the social media, where everybody has their own perspective on kind of what nutrition is, but there are actual scientific facts of what nutrition is. So, but yeah, no, definitely agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah. And that's really all I have here, to be honest.
Yeah. And just one other thing I wanted to mention about kind of shifting your perspective on food. And this might sound really cheesy, but just sitting down, first off, mindfully eating. So you're not like eating while you're watching TV, which we always do. But again, we both have pretty healthy relationships with food. So because when you're just kind of multitasking, you're not listening to your body's hunger cues. You're just mindless.
Distracted.
Yeah, you're distracted. So you don't even know when you're full or not. You're just going to eat what's in front of you,
Right.
whether that's what your body needs or not. And then also sitting and just being grateful for your food. Again, I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but like just being kind of in that headspace and being like grateful that you're able to eat this food and that it's fueling your body can be really helpful just to shift your mindset. And let me see, was there something? I feel like there was one other thing I wanted to mention.
Let it rip.
Where did it go? Oh, actually, I feel like we kind of touched on everything. We talked healthy swaps, not cutting out certain food, changing your perspective on food, eating enough throughout the day. And then the only other thing was like, find your staple meals so you don't really have to think about it.
Yeah.
Because I think when we're in the moment and like, oh my gosh, I'm starving, I need to eat something, we don't have anything either like mentally prepared or actually prepared.
Right.
That's when we kind of like freak out, stress ourselves out, and just kind of lean for less nutrient dense foods. And then the whole guilt thing happens.
Or you go to your default. And I think a lot of people's default is like bullshit, like just not great food, right? That doesn't make you feel good. Doesn't make you feel good like about what you're eating, which then just, kind of feeds into the whole cycle. But I feel like, again, having been super interested in this stuff, gone down the rabbit hole, learned a lot about it, tracked calories consistently for like months on end, my default is like protein and veggies and like a carb, and so it takes time to get there, but I think it's doable for everyone for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Peace out.
Doses.